Let me guess. You hit Angel's Landing, the Narrows, and survived a day or two on the shuttle system. And now you feel like you really did Zion. Love you? No. That version of Zion is only about 40% of the entire park experience. There are three other entire sections of Zion most people skip, and this is how you actually experience the rest of it. All three share one core theme. This is Zion without the crowd chaos. We're talking about East Zion, Kolob Terrace, and Kolob Canyons. This is how you take a 2 day Zion Canyon trip and turn it into something that actually feels like you saw Zion National Park. And just for context as we go, these areas are spread out, so timing and planning matter more than people expect. Let's start with East Zion, aka the section you probably drove through without realizing it mattered. This is the stretch of Highway 9 past the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel, and the second you come through that tunnel, the entire landscape changes. You go from tight canyon walls to massive sandstone domes, wide layered desert ridges, and these sculpted rock formations that feel almost exposed in a different way. It's like Zion gets flipped inside out. East Zion works best as either an early morning or late afternoon add on to your Zion Canyon day. And that combination is one of the smartest ways to structure your trip. Zion Canyon runs on shuttle timing, crowds, and a pretty rigid system. East Zion doesn't. So you can do your structured canyon experience in the morning, then shift into East Zion later in the day when things open up a bit and the pace changes completely. This is also where people mess up parking and timing. Canyon Overlook Trail is a big stop here, and the parking is extremely limited. It's not a normal parking lot situation. It's pull-offs along the road, and if you show up midday, you are either circling or waiting for something to open up. Early morning or golden hour is when this area actually works the way it's supposed to. People also underestimate this drive because it feels like it's on the way, so it must be just a pass through. Negative. You got to stop and experience it here. Now, Canyon Overlook Trail itself is short, about a mile round trip, yet it delivers one of those viewpoints where you get to the edge and people just stop talking. You're looking straight into Zion Canyon from above with layered cliffs dropping away beneath you. It's one of the highest reward to effort hikes in the park. There's also the east access to Observation Point, which is a quieter, less brutal way to reach one of the biggest views in Zion. Instead of grinding up from the canyon floor, you start higher and ease into the elevation. And when you get to the top, you are literally looking down at Angel's Landing. That moment hits people hard because it reframes everything that they just did in the main canyon. If Zion Canyon feels overwhelming, East Zion is where you start your day instead. If you only have 2 days, this becomes your bonus half day. And if you care more about viewpoints than crowds or logistics, this is your zone. What this really looks like in practice is a tunnel drive early or late in the day, a stop at Canyon Overlook, maybe an extra hike like East Mesa Trail if you want something longer, and then pulling off at random viewpoints along Highway 9 that most people completely ignore. If you loved the big reveal viewpoints in Zion Canyon, you're going to love it here. If you hated the parking stress and shuttle system, great. East Zion is your reset. Okay, let's go north to Kolob Terrace, which is where Zion completely changes personalities. This road starts in Virgin, Utah, and climbs fast into higher elevation terrain. And as you drive it, everything shifts. Desert cliffs start turning into pine forest. Wide canyon views tighten into backcountry terrain. The air feels different, the light changes, and suddenly you're not in the Zion most people talk about. Kolob Terrace is not something you casually add into a Zion Canyon day. This needs to be its own day or a very intentional half day with a single focus. If you try to squeeze it into a packed canyon schedule, you will rush it and miss the entire point. This is also where people underestimate geography. Zion Canyon sits near Springdale. Kolob Terrace is up near Virgin. There's no internal park road connecting them. You physically leave Zion Canyon, drive outside the main valley, and enter a completely different landscape. It's about a 50-minute drive depending on where you start, and it feels even longer because the elevation change is so noticeable. This is not next door Zion, this is a completely different chapter Zion. The hikes here are where things get serious fast. The subway is one of the most famous canyon hikes in the entire system, and it's absolutely not casual. It requires permits, route finding, scrambling, and water travel sections depending on your route. This is an adventure experience, not a sightseeing hike. Then there's the West Rim Trail from the top down, which is one of the smartest ways to experience Zion's elevation changes. Instead of climbing up from the canyon floor like most people do in Zion Canyon, you start high and descend into the canyon. That completely changes how the landscape feels physically and mentally as you move through it. This area is also one of the least forgiving in terms of preparation. Every year, there are cases of people underestimating time, distance, or elevation changes on backcountry routes, or running into weather shifts they didn't plan for, or just simply not having enough water or navigation tools. It's not common on the road itself, yet it absolutely shows up on hikes here. This is not a place to wing it. Now, a real day here in Kolob Terrace looks like an easy drive up the road with stops along the way because the road itself is part of the experience. You choose one main hike or exploration focus and you plan around it, not squeezing in all the extras. If you're doing something like the subway or West Rim, that's your entire day. If you've already done Zion Canyon before, this is where you level up. If you want something more remote, more physical, and more self-directed, this is your section. If you're just going to treat it like a quick scenic drive, skip it entirely or you'll walk away unimpressed. Finally, there's Kolob Canyons, aka the section where you probably drove past one of Zion's best views without realizing it. This is a completely separate entrance as well, off I-15 about 40 miles from Zion Canyon, and the landscape here is dramatic in a different way. Massive vertical cliffs, deep red canyon walls, and narrow finger-like formations carved into the rock make it feel like Zion compressed into something more intense and concentrated. And this is important. It is not close in park terms. It's roughly 45-50 minutes from Zion Canyon, depending on traffic, and it is accessed from the interstate, not the main park entrance. So this is not a quick add-on either. It's its own planned segment, and it's absolutely worth it. This is one of the highest return on effort stops in the entire region. Taylor Creek Trail is the standout hike here, with canyon walls closing in around you, multiple creek crossings, and even historic cabins along the route. It gives you that immersive canyon feel without the logistics or crowds of Zion Canyon. There's also Kolob Arch, which takes more commitment yet leads to one of the largest natural arches in the world. Even the scenic drive here is worth it on its own. It's only about 5 miles, yet it feels longer because every turn reveals a new angle of canyon wall and formation. And unlike Zion Canyon, there's no shuttle system here. You just drive and stop whenever you want. This is what people wish Zion Canyon felt like when they first heard about it. If you're wondering when to fit this in, it works best on arrival or departure days if you're traveling along I-15, or as a lighter reset day in the middle of a packed itinerary when Zion Canyon starts to feel like a lot. Skip rushing through Zion Canyon viewpoints and come up here for better space and scale, or use it as your easier hiking day after something big. If you want high impact without high effort, Kolob Canyons is your stop. If you're road tripping through Utah anyway, it's a no-brainer. And if you want a Zion experience without logistics and planning stress, this is it. So when you put it all together, East Zion is your easy add-on extension, Kolob Terrace is your full adventure day that needs intention, and Kolob Canyons is your quick yet powerful separate stop. Zion Canyon might be the center of the park, yet these 3 areas are how you actually experience the full version of Zion instead of just the highlight reel. If you're building your Zion trip, grab my free National Park Starter Guide at greatescapepodcast.com. And if you want this mapped out into a real itinerary, the Zion Planner shows you exactly how to fit everything together without guessing. Then go listen to the Zion Itinerary episode and the Best Hikes episode. And if this helped you see Zion differently, make sure you're subscribed because this is how we do travel here. Not just the famous stuff, the full experience. I'll see you in the next episode.